Your first year in Sweden might not be easy. Moving to another country, it never is. Or at least not as easy as we think it will be. But don't be afraid. You will survive it with candles, songs, and a stubborn heart. And with going out into nature, as much as you can really. I will not give you a checklist per se today, that's for another video. But I can tell you my story of how I settled into my life here in Sweden and how I found light in the dark, again and again. And one thing I can tell you right away, spoiler alert, spend time in nature. It's the secret to surviving Sweden, whatever gets thrown your way. When I first arrived, I braced myself for German-style bureaucracy, endless waiting, unfriendly faces, and paperwork mountains. But then I walked into the Kommune service center to apply for my Personnummer, and it felt like a reception. Service agents stood at cocktail tables, smiling, patient, welcoming, and I thought, am I in the wrong building? It was the friendliest bureaucracy I've ever met. And that was my first surprise in Sweden. In my experience, you really don't have to fear all the walks and talks regarding insurance, taxes, registration, bureaucracy, and you might leave those encounters with the feeling that you are welcome, that you get help should you need it, that you're not alone. And that can make all the difference. To really feel welcome and be part of this new land and culture, I was very eager to copy the Swedes in different aspects. Things that were completely new to me helped me settle mentally into my new life. Because that's what it is when you move to a new country, a different, completely new life. So I quickly adopted Lopez treasure hunts, which is the best new hobby I never ever thought about in Germany, and I started driving much more calmly. I had fika breaks, which are wonderfully like the German cafe. And I drastically increased the amount per year that I spent cooking at a campfire. And with outdoor activities of any kind. Oh, and I embraced all the quirks of my little house, no matter if I was used to different ways of doing it in Germany. I have talked about some of those differences in my previous video, but let me tell you one thing. It helps tremendously in feeling like a local when you do as the locals. It might feel like play pretend at first. Honestly, it sometimes still does, but it really makes a difference. Go wear those wool sweaters and hats. Just choose an outfit all in black if you still want to uphold an illusion of fashion. And take your summer vacation exclusively in July, like probably everyone else here. It might seem different to what you're used to, but you will feel closer to your new home. And also, as a counterpoint to all this copying, in those moments all alone here, in nature especially when no one is around, which I never experienced before, I realized I could do whatever I wanted. Nobody sees me, nobody cares. Take that as an antidote to all the adopting to a new culture. There really is space here for you just being you. So, Sweden makes it very easy to feel welcome. And a big part of that and of Sweden as a whole is its nature. The accessibility of it, The sheer amount of it. There are only 9 million Swedes living in a very big country. That leaves room for amazing landscapes, wilderness, endless forests, tens of thousands of lakes. I very quickly realized nature is not optional here. Embracing that in every way you can is crucial for surviving the changing seasons. That was my experience. In Germany, we tend to chase the sun, and for the Swedes that seems very important too. But they also chase the rain, snow, wind. No matter the weather, you go out anyway. And it changes you. The forest becomes a dear friend, the snowy blanket a teacher of warmth and softness, the silence a trusty, reliable companion. And returning after a long walk, the lights of your house shine brighter, your fika tastes more delicious, your couch next to the fire gets even more comfortable. Even if you watch one of those dark Nordic TV crime shows. Nature is the secret to surviving Sweden. And the gift you maybe didn't know you needed. Of course, you might know that already. There's loneliness. I've never met a people like the Swedes that so highly value solitude, individualism, and the freedom that brings. Time spent alone here seems to equal time spent getting to know yourself. Your own opinions, your interests, your quietest thoughts. At first, you might think that it means distance. I know that I did. But then I realized it's a different kind of closeness. Closeness to yourself first, before connecting to others from a more centered point of view. I have to laugh at myself sometimes, trying to start small talk with a stranger, and they will always be very polite, but might also look at me like I'm speaking Martian. All jokes aside, it can really help with feeling connected when you try to understand the Swedish mentality. You will learn to love the Swedish culture for its values, honesty, tolerance, and harmony orientation that starts with drawing numbers in any queue to avoid conflicts there. And over time, you will learn to love the quiet. Winter was the chapter I might have feared most. I prepared for the worst. Endless darkness, unbearable cold. And yes, at minus 18 degrees Celsius, my dog refused to walk outside. The air hurts to breathe. It turns into frozen smoke. The heating is a chore, and I worry constantly about frozen pipes. But then, when I sit by the oven, watching the fairy tale beauty outside, it is worth it. Winter here forces you to slow down, and you really should allow yourself exactly that, to slow down. Don't take on any to-dos. You're having an adventure right now, in the Swedish winter. But a pretty poetic one. even in the hardest days. So I guess here's my survival guide to your first year in Sweden. Carefully light some candles in your wooden house, listen to some Swedish songs, and be mindful. Really experience all the moments, even if that's hard. Keep your stubborn heart and lean on nature. Always nature. Go outside even when it's dark, even when it's cold. Because in Sweden, nature is the reason you stay and the reason you survive. That's how I found light in the dark, again and again.